Okay guys, so when you've got your completed model looking something like this, whatever color you happen to have selected for it, okay, and just to look at that quickly before we go across, just notice how we've got sharp corners on here, okay, so these are soft or rounded on the front. So it's basically the parts that are going inside the tube want to have a sort of a rounded edge to them. The cube that we began the whole thing with, they can be left square. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to use the model to generate some other drawings. So, and that's one of the really sort of useful things about this as a system. First of all, we'll take a screenshot of that. So on the first page of your assignment on the classroom, if you just use a screen grab and get hold of, say, that, okay, and this will be in its like default setting or default visual style. We can come down to the bottom here, and in display settings, where we've got this little picture of a display, there's various things we can do. We can go into visual style, and for example, you can create what's known as a wireframe. Wireframe is almost, if you like, a sort of an X-ray vision approach to viewing things. It's normally default set to show shaded with visible edges, okay? You can turn the edges off altogether and just have it shaded, for example, so it starts to look obviously you don't see physical edges on things normally drawn as lines or showing as lines. The other thing is that we can go into camera and we can change our setting from orthographic, where everything is very parallel and at 90 degrees, to perspective. Remember how we talked about perspective last time, and that idea that things are looking closer or larger the closer they are to us. So it's quite subtle on this, because obviously this isn't a very long or deep object, so you're not going to see a huge perspective effect. But if I just toggle between those two, you'll see, if I come back into my camera setting here, that there is a slight difference between orthographic, where it's very, very upright, and the perspective camera, which is a little bit more realistic, if you like. Generally speaking, it's set to the first, it's set to that orthographic. But so you can take one in the perspective view as well, and you can add that to your, so I'll just do another quick screen grab. Oops, right, let's just grab my screen grab tool, and I can do that one as well and upload that also to that first page. We then come on to the other two types of drawing that we were looking at. The first one is our perspective, and the second one, the first one is our dimension drawings, and the second one is our sectional drawing. So we'll have a look at the dimension first. I'm just going to go and save that, because I like to save it every few minutes just in case. I'm going to come up to the file option at the top, and I've got a new drawing button. From there, from the design or from the animation, well, this is from a design. And I get this little box here appear. The only thing really I want to look at on there is I'm going to change it from A3 to A4, 297 by 210. But it doesn't really matter too much. The rest of this we can leave as it is. We want the full assembly. It's a new drawing, so I'm going to click OK. When I click OK, you'll probably get a little delay while it just processes that data. And the screen will go, first of all, blank like this, white, while it's continuing to process that data. And you'll notice that everything's kind of changed across the top. We've got a whole different set of icons up here. And then we'll get one of these drawing sheets appear, like so. My model, you can see, is moving around with the mouse, and I've got this box of options here that I'm going to come into, and I can do things, for example, like change the scale. So at the moment it's selecting half scale, but I might actually be able to do it actual size, like so. Okay, now I'm just looking at that, and that looks to me like that's in perspective view maybe, which is not what I was wanting. But anyway, maybe I didn't put it back to what I wanted. So if I click that first drawing in place, that's my base view. It's going to be, in this case, my front view. Okay, it's showing it as the front orientation there. So I'm going to click that in place like so. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to click it again and press P. And remember, we kept talking last time about projecting information from one place to another. So as I move to the different sides, it's projecting those views or elevations out into the different sides. So if I was looking from the right, this is what I would be seeing. If I was looking from the left, this is what I'd be seeing. If I was looking from the top, and so on. And you can have it put in a 3D view as well. So if you just move it slightly to in a diagonal direction, it will go from being flat, two-dimensional to 3D. So I'm going to put that in there because I think that's probably my best view. And then when you're done, you can press the tick and it will put all of those in place for you. Okay. If you find it needs a bit of rearranging, then you can click on any of these and you can start to drag them, and everything else will sort of drag along, in line with it. If I want that sort of to be more over this way, I'm just going to drag that across in a straight line. I'll put that initial view in. You'll see it's dragged this one along as well to keep that in alignment. These two are still in horizontal alignment, but I might just want to sort of pull that a little bit further away, like so, and I might want to pull that a little bit closer, like so. And you'll see that that's really what we drew last time. These dotted lines here are hidden detail, so that's where obviously we've got those openings running through it, like so. I can just pull this down a little bit just to get it off that sort of very, very top edge of the page maybe. And then the final thing that we can do is we can put in some measurements. So remember last time we sort of showed how high it was and what the thicknesses of things were. We can do the same on here. I'm going to press D for dimension. If I click that line there, and then I come and I click this very bottom line, you'll see it's going to pull out, and then I'm just dragging out. Okay, so it's click, click, drag, and there you go. Press enter. That's the dimension there, 55 millimeters. If I do the same again, press D, and I click that line and that line, it's going to pull out and show me that it's also 55 in the other direction, which we kind of knew, but hey, does no harm just to be absolutely certain about this stuff. We can press D for dimension, and if I click over this side and click that side, that's going to show me that that's 22. And what have we not done? Remember, we talked about sort of spreading out those dimensions rather than putting them all on the same view. That one is just a simple click and drag. That's 25. That one, same again. Oh, it's a bit of a squeeze down there, isn't it? Just about fit that in and press 25 there. What haven't we shown? We haven't shown the thickness